Yo. Ooh, that's loud. Yeah. Yo, what's going on? What's going on, buddy? I'm doing pretty good. How's the audio sound? Sound good? I got new headphones. Dude, my headphones before, these ones were like broken. I was like, why does this sound so different? And I was like, I'll use some new headphones. So I got some headphones as a gift. So and then now it sounds perfect in my opinion. It sounds good. It should sound good. Yeah, it should sound perfect. It should sound excellent, actually. Yeah, just getting good equipment for the most part is not as big of a deal, but getting equipment that works, that's a pretty big deal. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play some music. Actually, I know I always say I don't want to play music on here, but I'm gonna play a little bit of music and see how that works for the show, at least for the most part. All right, let me see here. How's the guitar sound? Yeah, I think it sounds pretty good. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna play Nowhere Man. Just gonna play Nowhere Man for just a moment. See if the algorithm picks it up. That'd be pretty interesting if it does. See how it goes. Let me mess with the this a little bit. Let me do something here real quick. out, see what's going on with it. Yeah, how's it sound? Everything sounding okay? I think it sounds okay. At least it should. Find your way home. You wrote something on acoustic? That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. What'd you write? What'd you do? Okay, I guess it'll be a mystery. Carlos says bossa nova. I don't know how to play any bossa nova, dude. Define bossa nova. What's the defining characteristic of bossa nova? Kill says Brazil music pretty much. Really? Is that because we have a lot of Brazilians that watch the show? Jonathan says, I put a capo on the 2nd fret and played a bunch of open chords till I got something I liked. Oh, okay. So capo on the 2nd fret, open chords. Cool Killer says jazz chords alternating A and E bass notes. Oh, like. That's bossa nova. I like how Carlos was like, yeah. It's like, you knew the whole time, you couldn't tell me. Cool Killer knew what I was saying. Well, I was going to say, there's not too many new topics I wanted to talk about specifically tonight. I'm still working on a lot of stuff. Really grateful that we got to smash a guitar yesterday. That helps out a lot. There's like what? That's also bossa nova. Isn't that funny when somebody like says, "Oh, this is what the defining characteristic of this genre is"? Like reggaeton has that boom, cha boom, cha boom, cha boom, cha boom, cha boom, cha. Like that's the reggaeton beat. And then you have what's it called? You have like the drum and bass. You know what I mean? It's like it's really interesting how that goes. It's like any kind of genre kind of goes based off the beat. Like drums on rock band stuff is like. it's always the same thing. And then you have like the old style rock and roll where it was just like. And that's. And then blues is just like a. Then everybody just copies that. And then it's just different variations of that. It's funny how music does that. It's like a very interesting phenomenon that happens all the time with music. I think it's pretty funny, at least. I don't know. La Bamba? What's La Bamba? I can't remember what La Bamba sounds like. But then you have like a bunch of other stuff. Like you have Smells Like Teen Spirit, which has that kind of. It's like, is that a genre in its own? You know what I mean? Because it's still rock. It's that. Have you ever heard of Portuguese fado? No, I've never heard of it. No, man. Us Americans, we don't get out much. If you say anything from another country, there's like a 99% chance we don't really know too much about it. Like you were talking about Bossa Nova, and I was like, I can't remember what that was. Luckily, Cool Killa was in here. Yeah, isn't that weird? Being an American is so weird because it's like, in one respect, we are so isolated because, like, one, we don't use the metric system. I mean, we do, but only in weird stuff, you know what I mean? Like in certain sports and scientific stuff, but in everything else, we don't use the metric system. And then like everyone else on the planet uses the metric system except for Liberia. That's about it. And then like everyone's like, why don't you just use the metric system? We're like, we don't have to. And it's like, what? You kind of do. It's like, yeah, for shipping, but most Americans just don't do it. It's really weird how that works. And then like with guitar, like we love guitar. It's like our number one instrument in the United States. And then you go to other countries and still guitar is popular, but you know what I mean? Like you go to, I don't know, you go to Indonesia and it's probably something else that I've never even heard of. It's probably a different instrument. What's the number one instrument in Indonesia? Let's look that up. Let me see here. Pull it up for us. What is this? Hold on. What did I just enable? I wanted Microsoft Edge. I typed in Edge into my browser search, or not browser search, the start search, and it just showed me something completely I've never seen before. What did I just enable? I've never seen that before on my computer. Good Lord. Terrible. Windows is such a trash operating system, dude. All right, anyways, where were we? We were looking at Indonesia. It might be piano, if I had to guess. Popular instruments. So let me pull this up. Let's pull it up. So we'll pull up a window capture. There we go. Perfect. Covers everything up. So what do we got here? Windows. Let's pull this down a little bit. Pull this up a little bit. Pull this down. Let's just put this at the bottom. There we go. Now it should be behind everything. All right, so it says Indonesia is home to a rich variety of traditional musical instruments. The angklung. Man, I always shred on the angklung. That's what I like to play. The gamelan, sasando, kolintang, the kendang, dude. That's what I like to play, the kendang. So those are the popular. See, those are instruments I've never heard of in my life. See what I mean? Being an American, you just never check that stuff out. Never check it out. Pancake says, in Canada, we use both metric depending on what it is. Yeah, but you guys still understand the metric system, you know? You guys are still familiar with it. Like, if you told me how much is a meter, I'd be like, I don't know, probably like this much. Is that a meter? Whereas I know a foot is literally a foot, and that's only because, and I'm not saying the argument where people make, where how are you supposed to know what that is? If you mess with something enough, you do remember how long an increment is. Like, we all have a fundamental understanding of how long a second is, right? Like 1 second or 1 minute, we can judge that pretty well. Everybody around the planet. So it's not a factor of like, oh, you need like a landmark. It's like, no, if you have an idea of how much something is, you can remember. So it's really silly how that works. But yeah, I can't imagine what a meter is. Can't not in my brain because I don't mess with it enough. Yeah, being an American is like, somebody once said this once. They said that being an American is like being in a rich third world country. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of accurate. That's pretty accurate. That's not too far off because you got people that live in the woods who have never seen like a hospital a day in their life. They have like one pair of shoes and they've worn them since they were like 15 and they're like 38 now. They have the same pair of shoes. They have like, everybody in their town has like the same last name. Stuff like that. That happens. That's common. Like, obviously other places in the world also happens, but you go to like London, it's a completely different story. You go to Germany. I'm sure there's people living in the woods too, but not as many. It's half the country in the United States if you think about it. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Anytime somebody talks about like deforestation, like if you've ever driven across the United States and you see how much wildlife and like trees and how much there is just untouched, like I'm not kidding. Like there's so much. Like it shows the states, yes. But there are certain states where you can drive for like, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, and you see maybe a house. It's crazy how that works, dude. Yeah. Whereas like you go to Europe, a lot of places, and it's like the towns are just completely squished together. Everything, the streets are 200, 500 years old, 1,000 years old, stuff like that. You go to Rome, you know what I mean? You go to Italy, stuff like that. It's just everything's kind of squished together. Some of the street signs are older than our country. It's pretty funny how that works. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the United States that's kind of just absolutely just nowhere near the modern era. So, but that's kind of how it works. We're very, very. It's a strangely conservative country for being so new. You know what I mean? We don't want to change certain things, even though they're very, very young. Whereas you go to other countries and it's like, oh, we change stuff like every 5 years, 10 years. It's something totally different. It's very funny how that works. And then you go to other countries and they're like, we have had the same building for Parliament or like our Prime Minister for 700 years, stuff like that. Nah, we're just kind of hanging out talking about music, Ryan. Yeah, we're just talking about guitar. Oh, I'm not talking about music right now. Just kind of babbling. Guitar, music, streaming. Yeah, if you got questions, you want to talk about something, go for it. I'm just kind of rambling until somebody gives me a question. You know what I mean? But it's whatever. Actually, hold on. Let me duplicate this. Turn the reverb off. Yeah, like I was saying, though, being an American, it's like you only have two neighboring countries. You have Canada, which is basically, no offense to the Canadians, but you guys know, you're basically, most of you are only, 100 miles from the border. So it's like, it's basically just the Midwest. It's a little bit different. You guys got a bit of a different thing going on, but I would call it far from another country in the respect of, like, if you go down to Mexico, you got the same language for the most part. A lot of you folks, obviously, hang out in the United States, or we, kind of go back and forth through it. All right, here we go. First question of the night. We got Ryan who says, I am trying to learn a song. If you have any advice, Whole Wide World, Reckless Eric. Never heard of it, actually. But what's giving you a problem? You just got given a guitar today. Ooh, you got a lot to learn, buddy. You got a lot to learn. I mean, when you first start guitar, you're really trying to figure out the muscle, because let me put it this way: if you've ever tried to play basketball or football or any sport, everything feels so unfamiliar. You know what I mean? Like even walking. Remember when you were a baby? You're trying to learn how to walk. Well, maybe you don't remember, but everything's so foreign to you, and you have to get those muscles and your tendons and everything to kind of cooperate. Guitar is actually one of the only instruments I would say is painful to play at first. So, like for example, your fingertips. When you first start playing, the tendons in your hand and your fingertips are going to be hurting a little bit. It's not going to be like, oh, my hand hurts so bad, but it's going to be like, that's not comfortable. I don't like this. I don't like this. But after a week, casually playing, it'll go away. Because I play for several hours, 6 hours, 8 hours a day, and it's fine. But there's a point where it kind of gets a little crazy. But yeah, I think the first things you're going to be trying to do, in my opinion, if you're trying to learn guitar, if you're trying to play an instrument for the first time, is you really aren't going to be playing any songs. You're not going to be learning any songs. You really have to get the basics down. And it'll take about a week or two. It's not that long. It really isn't. You know what I mean? It's like if you want to learn how to run, you have to learn how to walk. You have to learn how to crawl. You have to learn how to tie your shoes, dude. So this is the tying shoes stage if you're trying to learn how to play guitar. So it's really just this whole aspect of trying to get your fingers to cooperate with your brain. And then your right hand to try and play something at the same time. So a lot of times when people ask me, like, what is the first thing I should work on? A lot of people kind of give a whole bunch of warm-ups and all this other stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're trying to learn how to play guitar, what you should really do is just practice just basic movements of... Let me turn my microphone back on. Hold on. You know what I mean? Just make sure your muscles are getting developed. Make sure your tendons are fine. Make sure your fingertips are starting to get calloused. Because if you can't do all that, no use to learning a song. But, I mean, that's the main thing is you want to practice. Just got to practice that kind of movement. And then eventually, after you're like, okay, you're not doing this. After you get out of that, when you start going. After you get that a little bit, then you can start kind of working on some songs. I mean, you have to define what songs you want to try and figure out. You said there was a band called Reckless Eric. You got to figure out how to play that stuff. You got to figure out what he's doing. A lot of songs have to do with chords. You know what I mean? You got to figure out the vocabulary. You can't just play single notes the entire minute. You could, but it's not fun. But yeah, really practice those muscle movements, and then move on to chords and what notes what, and then you got to figure out timing. But the basic shoe tying thing before you start walking is making sure your finger's behind the fret. Make sure your right hand is plucking the note effectively. You're not looking at, where's my hand go? What's going on? Those are your first steps. Become familiar with the instrument. Yep, Songster's pretty good. I like Songster. It's not so bad. If you don't know what Songster is, if you go to any website browser and you type in, for example, let's look up Come As You Are. And you look up the word tabs. Songster is usually, yep, there it is, right here. So if you click it, it comes up with this sheet music and all that stuff, and then you could press play. I can't play it because it's copyrighted, but you can press play, and then it'll show you each note, when to play it, and then how to keep going. So, but keep in mind, not all of this stuff is accurate. Not everything's completely accurate. It's really funny how that works. Yeah, but that's how you learn how to play guitar for the most part. You got to get those fundamentals. But I'm going to tell you right now, the fundamentals with guitar doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. It does not take as long as you think. Anytime you're trying to learn an instrument, the fundamentals is the hardest, but it doesn't take as long as you think. The longest part is being comfortable playing, being happy with what you're playing and trying to be creative with it. A lot of people don't even get there. That's not a joke. A lot of people, when they're learning to play an instrument, some people, they have to be told what to play. They have to have a sheet music in front of them. They have to have a chord chart. They have to have the tempo and all that stuff. And some people never make that. And some people have the opposite problem. They can only write stuff. They can never follow along with things. It's pretty interesting how that works. So I always call that in the box and out of the box playing. I play a lot out of the box. So I like to write stuff. But if you put sheet music in front of me like this without the tablature, I'm going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing. But then my brother, for example, he only, for the most part, he'll be like, what key are we in? He wouldn't be able to just figure it out by listening. He'd be like, okay, I'll just guess as hard as I can. And then there's a lot of people out there that have to have that sheet music, like I said, in front of them at all times. They could not, for the life of them, just try and write something. I don't know why that is. That'd be a pretty cool little kind of discussion. You know, it's like, for example, some people are very good at acting. They'll remember all their lines, but if you tell them to improvise, they'll just be like, I got nothing. See, Carlos says I play guitar and know how to read music. Do you write a lot? Some people can do both. Wonderwall? Nah, no thanks, man. We're kind of just talking about music. See, Carlos says, I don't. Yep. See? It's common. It's not very typical for people to be able to play and write and do all that stuff. It's very difficult. Cool Killer says, reading music for guitar is literally one of the hardest instruments to sight read for me. Yeah, I can believe it. I think piano would probably be really difficult too. You know what I mean? It'd be horrible. Yeah, there's so many of the same note too. If you think about it, you have to figure out like what position you're in, all that stuff. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm gonna go turn off my air conditioning. Should say heater, but yeah, it's the air. Yeah, it's right here. It's 1 second. I'm just gonna go back here, click this button. There we go. Dude, there's so many broken guitars in this room. What if I should count them all? How's it sound, by the way? I did a lot of editing with the audio, and I also got different headphones. So I found out the other headphones I was using were broken. They were like distorting. They were blown out, like really bad. Sounds great. Sounds good. All right. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was going on before, and I figured it out. It was the headphones and stuff like that. Dude, there's so many guitars coming for the future shows. I went on like a crazy spree. I was like, I got to get some stuff. We can't have this moment where like, oh, we don't have a guitar to smash tonight. No more of that. We're gonna try and have 2 on deck at all times, as long as we can. Oh, I got a question for you guys. Okay, so I was talking to somebody recently about new music that's coming out and how everybody's confused about how all these artists are releasing stuff and like nobody's hearing about it. What was the last new record or new song or new album or something like that came out from an artist and you didn't realize that they came out with something? Because I was going to say, I knew Joji. Joji came out with something recently. I didn't listen to it. But I only knew about it because I got a text on my phone because I had notifications from Joji set up. I would have never found out that he had new music. Has anybody heard any new music recently? And they're like, oh, I didn't know that came out. That seems to be a common problem going on right now. It's pretty interesting if you ask me. Take my keys out of my pocket. Kevin Parker is working on some new stuff. Oh, Tame Impala? On the borderline. That's cool. I knew he was coming out with an acoustic album. I didn't know if it was out yet or not. YouTube gives you notifications? Really? What was the last one you got? Nina Simmons? Or Nina Simone, excuse me. I actually never listened to Nina. You got one from... These are all people I don't know. Tool 46 and 2? Is that, are you describing yourself? What are you talking about? Are you asking for a song? What are you saying? Yeah, we could tell, buddy. I like it when people come in here and they're like, it says he's talking about music. I'm just going to yell a song at him. He'll probably play it for me. It's like going to a restaurant and just being like, taco, soft shell. And they're just like, what are you doing? Hotel California is like, that is like the ultimate I just started listening to music song. How old are you? Kel? Yeah, how old are you, buddy? It's a great song, but it's like the amount of people that request it is very funny. Sir, this is an Arby's. Long-time Eagles fan? Oh, I see. Did you guys ever learn how to read? Is that something new for you too? Yeah, have a good one, dude. It's so funny, dude. It's like ridiculous. This guy's talking about music. I think I'm going to ask him to play something for me. Especially right after somebody else was like, hey, play a song. This guy probably goes to like Walmart and just walks up to any person that's wearing a blue vest and just goes, carpet cleaner, carpet cleaner, carpet cleaner. And they're just like, sir, all right, I think it's over in aisle 7G. Carpet cleaner. And it's like, okay. Or it would probably be better if it was like Best Buy. They go to Best Buy and they just start asking for carpet cleaner. And they're like, no, we sell electronics. And they go, carpet cleaner. You sell things, don't you? You have a guitar in your hands. Why aren't you playing the song I wanted? If you had to play guitar and sing 100% of any artist, it would be, Nirvana. Easily. I mean, I did that for the first, 6 months of the streaming career. That's what I did for a while. How does a Hotel California go? Does it go... Is that how it goes? I think that's a different song. Are those the actual chords, Cool Killa? B minor, F sharp, A. Oh, you know how to play it? All right. Okay, so you said B minor. So here, ready? F sharp, A, E, back to G. Oh, I think I know that song. That's Hotel California? Really? Who'd have thought it'd be so easy? No way. Dude, we just learned how to play Hotel California. What's another one? What's another classic? What's another classic one? Can you request songs? Yeah, dude, go for it. Might as well. The audience is listening. Oh, I thought they were ignoring me. Oh, you want me to play Steve Vai? Okay, I got you. Isn't that how it goes? Doing the same joke he did earlier. Nah, I don't know how to play that, dude. Isn't it funny when I play music, people ask me a bunch of questions, and then when I stop playing music to answer questions, people ask me to play music. Maybe the second channel wasn't a good idea after all. Rooster, Alice in Chains? Oh, yeah, I got you, dude. I like how the regulars are like, this is funny, trolling people that are just ignoring the prompt. How would that go, actually? A Rooster on acoustic would be like... Right? That'd be it. We need some reverb. We need reverb. Reverb stat. Found a way to kill me yet. Eyes burn, stinging sweat. Na, 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 need to know where. And the other part goes. Really hard part of the song. I can't remember how to play the solo. Nobody has a question? Everybody's question is, can you play this song? That's what everybody wants. Yeah, there you go. That's such a great rhythm. Cool Killa sent a $5 donation. Thank you so much, Cool Killa. Everyone say thank you to Cool Killa. Ice cream or popsicle? Ooh, I'm going to go ice cream, dude. Popsicle's great. Ice cream for sure. Superman ice cream is sick. Big fan of Superman ice cream. Fudge bars are good too. But if they don't, usually places don't have Superman ice cream. So I usually get mint chocolate chip. That's my other go-to. Zoe says, what was your first guitar? Oh, I can show you. Hold on. Here, I'll pull it up. And as I wind down the road, Behringer Pack guitar. There you go. Spelled it all perfectly. Let's see here. My first guitar was this Behringer Pack guitar. This is the exact model. I used to have this when I was 14, and it's a Strat copy. Came with this amp, strap, the cable, all the stuff. I think it was like $110 or something, which was like, hey, that's a pretty good deal at the time. But it was a really thin neck on the guitar, and eventually what happened was when I was playing it, like, I don't know, 2 years later, I, like, put it down like this. Not a joke. I put it on my foot, too. I went like that, and it snapped the body right from here to here in half. It went, and I went, oh! And then I was like, okay, it's broken now, so I just smashed it. So, it's pretty brutal. It was a pretty brutal thing. Yeah. But yeah, if you have a Strat, it can happen. It's very rare, but that's just a not very well made one. Cool Killer says I go for Ninja Turtle, SpongeBob, or Sonic in that order. Oh, you're talking about the ice cream truck kind of stuff? But you know what's funny is when I was growing up playing guitar, I had a big problem with Fender. I remember because I'm like a super big fan. They're my favorite company as far as guitars and stuff. But when I was growing up, buying Fender or looking for guitars and stuff, because I had a Strat copy, I noticed everybody had a Strat. Every company. You talk about Ibanez. You talk about, PRS now has their Silver Sky. Everybody has Strats in their roster, and it's just like one of those things where you just see everybody have it, and you're like, I want to be unique. I want to be cool. So I just didn't want to buy a Strat or a Fender. And then eventually, when I was looking for one at a shop, guy sat down. He's like, dude, I think you should try a Tele. And I was like, nah, I don't like Fender that much. And he's like, really? Why? And I'm like, I don't know. Everybody has one. He's like, nah, you got to go sit down with one. So he sat me down with a Telecaster. I'm going to use my Strat for right now. He sat me down with a Telecaster. And he plugged it in. He put it, I never forget this, he put it into a deluxe reverb. He had the reverb going up. And it was just this. Beautiful sound, and I've never wanted to change my sound since I heard that. It's beautiful. Absolutely one of the best things I've ever experienced. So, yeah, Fenders are good. I've totally come full circle on them. But Snake says, "What is your favorite guitar you own?" This one. I like this. My Made in Mexico Strat. I modified a little bit, but it's just I like the neck on it a lot. It feels great. Everything. Yeah, he really did. I actually sent them an email years later thanking them. I was like, "Hey, I don't know if you guys remember me. You absolutely don't." But I used to go in their shop all the time. I went in there like, because it was right down the street from my job when I was like 16. I used to go there every day after work and stuff, and just hang out and look at guitars and hang out and be like, "What's this? I want to learn about this." So yeah, he really did a good job. So I sent them an email just saying like, "Hey," because the guy still worked there. It was like, what? It was amazing. It was a really cool experience. But yeah, I just really like my Made in Mexico Strat. But I have tons of other guitars here, obviously, and there's some more over here you can't see, and there's even ones I don't even play on the show. But yeah, really big fan of Strats and Les Pauls and Jaguars and a lot of acoustics, things like that. So yeah, changed my life. I said it was like hearing the voice of God. Just absolutely, like, listen to this thing. You put a little bit of that tremolo on it. Let's put a little bit more reverb, more volume. Isn't that so cool? I love that sound. Absolutely one of the most beautiful instruments I've ever heard in my life. Streaming or physical copies for quality? Oh, dude, physical copies are the best. I can't afford that anymore. I don't usually buy physical media just because it's so expensive to do everything. And when I say streaming, I don't necessarily stream anymore. Like, I still have YouTube Premium, and I think I have Spotify still because I like share it, and I still like the quality of having it. Like, because here's a problem with streaming. I'll explain what a problem with streaming is. The moment they take it away, you're like, oh, I can't watch that movie anymore, or I can't listen to that song, which doesn't happen with Spotify and stuff like that as much, but it is a possibility. So eventually, you can't get it at any time you want. The other part of it too is that you kind of just forget what you like. Isn't that amazing? You know, the longer you live, the more things you enjoy. So you eventually do forget, like, oh yeah, I remember I used to really like that album. So even if you have like a playlist, sometimes you get different playlists. Sometimes it just doesn't play the song that you remember. Because I remember when I was moving to this new location, I was listening to a lot of Pink Floyd because David Gilmour released a new album, and it was really good. I was really happy with his new album, Luck and Strange. And it was just happenstance that I found that. And I was like, dude, incredible. Such a great album. So I got to go back and listen to Pink Floyd and stuff like that. So. Cool Killer says, I need a Strat in the collection. I mean, this is hardly a Strat if you think about it. It's just the body shape. Cause it's got a humbucker. There's no middle pickup. It's got a neck pickup, which is shocking for a lot of people. Is this actually isn't a single coil. It's a stacked single coil, which I really like. I really like the clarity of single coils, but they're so damn noisy. I don't use them as much anymore. So I like stacked coils and stuff like that, just because you can just get a nice, clean, without all the problems that single coils can have. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah. This is just my favorite playing guitar, like, feeling-wise. I don't think it sounds the best. I think it sounds damn good, though. But it fits my hands, and I played it the longest. Zoe says, what's the difference between a single coil and a stacked coil? Two things. It would be clarity. Like, here, I'll give you an example. So that is how a neck stacked coil sounds. It's basically just a humbucker, if you think about it. It's just a really thin humbucker. And then you get a real, true single coil. Like in this one. This is same woods, same construction, except for the rosewood, but it's not a big difference. But yeah, you get this nice single coil, and you get a much... There's just more clarity to it. Is it a big deal? Nah, not really. It's noticeable if you go back and forth. I'll explain something. Most of the time when people talk about guitar, they are talking about very subtle differences, and it's kind of a joke because when you listen to something in the mix, when it's in the context of a band, the drummer, singer, other guitar player, maybe a keyboard player, who knows? When you have all that, bass player, I guess. If you guys get all that stuff, guitar is just going to sound like guitar. It's always going to sound like a guitar. Very few times have I sat and listened to a record or something like that and went, oh, he's playing a 52 telly? Nice. You can't really discern that with your ears. You know, there's an old joke with Jimmy Page with Led Zeppelin, is that his Les Paul sold, or I'm sorry, his Telecaster sold more Les Pauls than any other guitar. So it's really funny how that works. Like the first couple records and the first couple songs, obviously, from Led Zeppelin, it's all Telecaster. But he plays a Les Paul on stage, so everybody just assumed he always played a Les Paul. And it's like you just can't tell what he played sometimes. So it's really funny how that works. Oh, yeah, that's a big thing. But ultimately, it's like the difference between a single coil and a stacked coil and a humbucker and a P90 is you get varying degrees of EQ differences and you get the output. So sometimes a little hotter, sometimes it's like distortion, sometimes it's super clean. Let's just do an example. I'll go from the neck pickup to the middle pickup. Well, listen to this. This is like nice and full. Middle pickup. It's a little bit thinner, a little bit not as rounder and full. And then you go to the bridge pickup humbucker. Distortion City, baby. Still sounds like a guitar. But yeah, there are subtle variations and differences between the tones and sounds and stuff. But ultimately, it still sounds like a guitar. Now, that doesn't mean you can plug in 4 metal zones into a PA speaker and it'll sound good. You know what I mean? There is like a limit to how much you can goof around with like the qualities of the sound, the timbre and the tones of it. But at the same time, it's like going from a humbucker to a neck pickup. Most people won't even catch it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's more of a thing for you when you're writing and playing. It's more of a thing that you can feel and tell. I didn't say the metal zone was bad. I said if you plug in 4 metal zones. That the joke was is if you just have so much distortion, it completely destroys it. It's like, all right. J.A. says, what pickups are they? Oh, you know what's really interesting about this guitar is I bought this used. It came with custom shop pickups. Damn shame. The guy who sold it bought these like, how much are these? These are Fat 50s pickups. Hold on, let me pull them up. These are custom shop. I think they're like $200 now, $300 for the pair, or the triple, all 3 of them. Take your time, Google, or I'm sorry, it's Bing. Yeah, you can pick them up for I guess $245 now. So it came with a nice set of pickups. So I was really happy about that. So it's pretty interesting how sometimes you get used stuff and it's like, oh, cool. Yeah, these are Alnico 5s too. And if you don't know anything about pickups, like typically Alnico is aluminum, nickel, cobalt, and the higher the number, the more output it has, typically. So if you get Alnico 1, it's going to be like a lot cleaner. But if you get Alnico 5, it's a little more distorted, things like that. So, but yeah, so I like ceramics. I like ceramic. I think my if I had to pick a humbucker legitimately, it would probably be something a little less hot now. Well, when they say hot, I mean like less distortion. Because, for example, on this Les Paul, I have there's a super, or not a super distortion. It's a 500T, which is like the super hot ceramic pickup in the bridge. But in the neck pickup, I think it's an Alnico 2. So it sounds good. But you can definitely hear they're not matched. So going from one to the other, you're just like, holy shit. Again, a difference, but it still sounds like a guitar. You know what? Let me clean up my amp a little bit. Hold on. But if you split the coil, make it a single coil, really cleans it up. See, look at how like thick that gets. Isn't it just there's a little bit of a thing, a little bit of a difference there, but it matters. Johnny B. Good? Johnny B. Good? Okay, I got you. Yeah, just how hard you play it. Oh, wait, that's not Johnny B. Good. Dang it. Whoops, messed up. But, you know, pickup combinations are important to you because, like, let me put it this way. There is an importance as far as, like, distortion goes and output. So, like, if you have a single coil and you have a lot of distortion, and, like this is a single coil neck pickup right now. So if I hit my distortion, you hear that? That's going single coil to humbucker. There is definitely a reason the humbucker was invented. See, it's pretty obvious there. That's a huge difference. So if you're playing live and you just have that distortion going and you're just like, whoops, it'll pick up noise. It's that clear. It's that honest of a pickup where it's like, I'll even show you the bad stuff. Whereas you get a humbucker going on, it's just like, no big deal. You know what I mean? Jesse says, I hate how Gibson's G and B strings always go slightly out of tune. I mean, most guitars have that issue just because the G string is the plain string. And, you know, if you think about how the tension works, it's the plain string, it just has a lot of problems. The B string as well. But, I mean, if a guitar's set up pretty well, usually they all just go out of tune anyways, just more consistently. But, I mean, Gibson, I mean, you could kind of make that argument about a lot of different guitars. Anything with like a 3x3. But even the 6 in a line, though, if you think about it, check this out. Here, I got a Strat out to show you guys something. Strats, I mean, they have to have a string tree. You know what I mean? See right there? You got your string tree. Can we talk about this for a second, too? Why does this called a string tree, right? Which is like, okay, that's a pretty normal... That makes sense. But this is called a nut. Why is this called the nut? Why couldn't they call it a string guide? String tree, string guide. No, they went with nut. They're like, how about we have it with nut? Jesse says, I've only had a real issue with it with Gibsons. None of mine have that problem. That might be a you problem, to be honest, man. I know a lot of other people have said that, but, I mean, my Gibsons, it's been fine. I don't know. Maybe it's a setup thing. Maybe you gotta clean your nut. Fix that, man. Yeah, man. I don't know about that. I'll tell you this. As far as the string tree goes, because it's still putting tension. If you look at it, it's on the B and the E string, and a lot of Fenders also have it on the D and the G string too, which is like, what? And it just has to keep that tension because the way that it works is the strings are going much further out, and they want to keep that tension down so it doesn't kind of slip out of the nut. You know what I mean? I'm actually really happy with the roller nut on this. I thought that was kind of a gimmick, but I tried it out, and it stays in tune a little bit better, I think. Can I play Dig It by Bring Me the Horizon? Absolutely. Hold on, I got you, man. Oh, is that stereo? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. My bad, dude. What was the song you wanted to hear? I like how everyone's just kind of letting me do that every time. You guys are like, all right, we get the joke. You've done this probably 7 times now. Stop it! Stop with the joke. Cool Killa, $2. Thank you so much for the $2. Does the roller nut slide in, or is it a routed install? I think it's routed because it's a little bit wider. And the guy who installed mine actually bent some metal to put it in there. There's like metal sticking out of the side a little bit. Luckily, it doesn't hurt. But yeah, it's like 1 millimeter it's like 1 millimeter too wide too. So I don't know why he didn't say that, but I don't know. I said, hey, can you put this on for me? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. That was it. Everyone say thank you to Cool Killa, send a $2 donation. But I'll tell you this, if you're thinking about putting a roller nut on something, I think it's worth it. Honestly, I do think it's worth it. It does make sense. It doesn't look as cool, but you kind of forget it's there. But it does really help out with tuning. I think this is the guitar that kind of goes out of tune probably the least. But then again, all the other guitars, it just depends on weather, humidity, the neck, all that stuff. But I think it's worth it. How much is a roller nut these days? Let's check it out. I think I got they're $60 under that. So I think they're a little bit cheaper nowadays. This is the exact one I got, the LSR roller nut. Let's look about this. Let's check out Sweetwater. Let's see here. Ball bearings. OEM part. No fear of poor build quality or incompatibility. Well, you got to make sure the neck is wide enough. Because I think this is made for American guitars, which are slightly wider nut. Which is funny to me, but I can always tell if it's 43 or 42 or 44. You just kind of can feel it. It's 1 millimeter difference, but your hands, once they get used to something, you can kind of feel it. So. Yeah, I've never had to lubricate this, which is so funny. I have to lubricate my nuts. See what I mean? We as a guitar community need to either decide if we think it's funny to tell that joke every time, or if we think calling it a string guide. String guide it makes sense. Because again, string tree, string guide. But nut is the easier, faster thing to say. What do you guys think? Should we keep it as nut, or should we call it something else? Yeah, it's traditional at this point, but at the same time, I feel like, I mean, if we can make a Strat, what an acoustic guitar looks like, you know what I mean? If we can have radical ideas, hey, make it. CM says, nah, just for the sake of jokes. All right, you got it. But it is funny. It is funny anytime you have to say it because everyone goes, what did you say? I'm like, all right. But no need for friction, you guys. No need for friction. Oh, it came with the blade thing. Oh, I always thought he did that. I didn't know that till just now. Shows you don't know everything. I came with those little blades to like shim it. Huh. All right. Makes sense to me. When you say it like nut every time. Man, I'll tell you what. It's been a slow news day for guitar, too. The other day we were talking about that guy who's, what was it? He bought that guitar from the guy's wife who was selling it and even when he cheated on her. I told you most of you about that yesterday. That happened the other day. That was interesting. Guy was like, "Hey, how much is that guitar?" And she was like, $25. And he's like, "What? That's like a vintage. That's like a vintage Jaguar. What are you doing with it?" She's like, "My husband cheated on me, so I'm selling all this stuff." A part of me thinks one, that's just so hard to believe. I mean, I get it could probably happen, but it's so hard to believe. But also the other part of me is like, it could happen. But it could happen. But I think he was telling people that so that like he could just brag about it and rage bait people. That was the other part where I was like, this guy kind of sucks. Because I've seen people say stuff like, dude, look what I found. I found a sick guitar. Guy was selling at a yard sale. Usually there's no other information, because it seems like that's over-explanation. But, whatever. Finn says, do you believe in God? Well, what about you, pal? Belief in God. You're not going to smite me, are you? Are you God? Are you asking me? So if I say no, are you going to shut down my stream? If I say yes, are you going to ask me which God? Is this one of those duplicate questions where no matter what I say, you're going to do something crazy? Is this a guitar or music or streaming related question? In which order? I like how you're just doing yes or no answers. I don't know which one you're answering. And also there's a second person, apparently, who is you. Are you both the same person? Why was that guy answering for you? Do you guys know each other? Oh, now I don't know who to trust. That guy says yes. The other guy says no. Who's lying? Finn says no. I said who's lying, and Finn said no. Zoe says I'm so confused. All right, on the count of three, whoever's the real one, say yes. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Real one, go. Oh, wait, now Phil's saying yes. Now Crafty's saying yes. I don't know who to believe. What am I supposed to do? First you're asking me if I believe in God, and now you're telling me you're 5 or 7 different people? What are you doing to me? Phil says, I'm a real one. You know what it is. Okay, I'll ask you guys. Let me ask the questions here now. We're flipping this. We're going to flip this. How many people in here play guitar? Who's playing? Finn's like, I like this guy. I like this guy. He's a so funny man. He's a so funny. I ask him inappropriate question. He answered me with question. Well, it's not really inappropriate, but it's just not really related to what I was talking about. Cool Killa sent a $2 donation saying Phil is cool. You know who's really cool? It's Cool Killa. It says it in the name. Very cool. Zoe, you play guitar? Finn, you play guitar? Sharky, you play guitar? Carlos, you play guitar? CM says, I don't really play, but I try. All right. Okay. All right. So you all play guitar. I want you all to explain to me in one word or less what the most difficult part of guitar is for you. I want to see who's got something I can probably give you some advice on or talk about. Finn says, do you believe me? Do you believe me, funny man? Listen here, funny man. I'm talking to you. I don't know why you're Tony Montana now. Listen to me, funny man. I'm trying to talk to you about guitar. Bar chords? Really? Tenzo, you think those are difficult? What if I told you I could do them with my pinky? Yeah? You think that's hard? You think that's hard? Is that difficult for you? Phil says, no, cool is the coolest. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are so nice to each other. Bar chords because I have joint issues. Hey, I don't want to talk about that kind of thing on my show, all right? Just because Oh, you meant like your fingers, not other joints. Okay, my bad. I'll give you guys a pro tip. Okay, if you are having trouble doing this motion, if you can't do that, it's because you suck and you should quit. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. No, dude, get your guitar set up. Yeah, your guitar's not set up for your hands. Let me put it this way. A lot of people think after a bit of time, bar chords are just difficult and blah, 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 and it hurts you and all that stuff. And it does. But much like, does anybody drive in here? If you don't drive, you don't have to say that. But if anybody has a driver's license, you know, when you get into a seat when you're driving, you move the seat back and forward and up and down so you can get a good driving position. The same thing is true on a guitar. When you have a guitar, you have to get it set up for you. So I started, when I first started playing guitar, I had size 11 strings, very big boys. So that's 2 gauges up from most people, 1 gauge up from like Gibson and stuff like that, but I played on Fenders. So I went from 11s to 10s to 9s to 8s. And it's so much easier. It's so much fun to play. It is rewarding. So if you're playing guitar and you can't do this with your pinky, like with ease, it's probably not set up for you. Now, some people like more of a challenge. Some people like heavier strings, but guess what? You can use heavier strings and still get it set up in a way where you can play bar chords and stuff like that in an easy way. So this, for example, I think this has, what is this, 12? Yeah, these are 12s. So I should be able to bar it with my pinky. Survey says how can he do it? Get your guitar set up well. The idea is that when you get your guitar's neck nice and straight with a little bit of relief. So it's a little bit, so if you think about a guitar's neck, right? It's like this. You should probably do this instead of this. So if you got the guitar's neck like this, if you have the strings pulling on it, it's going to pull up on it. It's exaggerated, but as the strings pull on it, it's going to kind of bend the neck. You want it to have just a little bit, just a bit. So you got to get that thing nice for you. You want to make sure your string gauge is right. You want to make sure the neck's nice and straight. There's a method called train, and it's TRAIN, train. So you got the T, which is tune up. So you want to go to the tuning that you desire. So I play this in half step down. I play the other guitar in standard tuning. But you want to make sure it's in the tuning you want it to be. When you're going back and forth with tuning and stuff like that, the neck, like I was showing you earlier, is going to move up and down. It's going to get straightened out, or it's going to go back bow, it's going to bow. So you want to make sure the tuning is right where you want it to be. So set that up, and then after you get the tuning right, there's R. R is for relief. Like I said, you got to get that neck straightened out mostly. So after you tune it up, relief, and then A is for action. A is to make sure once the neck is straight, you want to make sure that if you're playing an acoustic, the saddle is either nice and low or if it's nice and high for you, whatever you want it to be. But you want it to be at a pretty even set, so that way if you're playing something, you're not fretting out. You don't want it to do like a... You don't want it to do that. You want it to be nice. And then after you set the action, I for intonation, so you want to make sure that the notes all the way up the neck are nice and good. So you have to do that. For most guitars, acoustics you can't. There's no screwdriver, but you can get it done. What if you got a Strat or something like that? Down here, see all that metal, all those screws and stuff, all those grub screws? That's where you set your intonation. So once you get that set, the guitar will play in tune all the way up the neck. And then N is for noodle. Then you just play it. And as you play it, you'll notice, is something wrong? Is something right? That's it. That's the entire method. So obviously me saying that does not tell you every single detail, but that is a method. If you look up the train method on how to set your guitar up, it'll play perfect. Each one of my guitars is set up exactly the way I like to play it. Therefore, I have no complaints, and bar chords are super easy. So it's like a seagull, just floating on the wind. It's no effort. Yeah, setting up your guitars is kind of it's a skill. You don't have to learn it, but it pays you back a lot because you don't have to pay someone else to do it. Guitar science, exactly, Cool Killer, exactly. Thank you. Here we go. Psh. Let's see here. 6 says, what's a good beginner guitar for a left-handed dude with huge hands? I don't know, man. I don't know how big your hands are, and I also don't know what you like. So the real advice for you is and I know this sucks for you, for your left-handed, you got to go to a shop that has left-handed guitars. You got to call ahead. You got to figure out if they got anything you can actually play there. Obviously, since a lot of shops don't have left-handed guitars, you're probably going to end up buying something blind online. But really, that's also kind of a lose-lose situation because, one, you have to send the money, you got to wait for it, it gets there, and then you have to return it because more than likely you're not going to get something that's good. But I'll tell you this, Fender has a lot of left-handed models. So if you're looking at electrics, Fender has a lot of lefties. Yamaha has a lot of lefties out there. Anything that's a little more inexpensive or cheaper build construction, it's a lot easier to make lefties rather than something that's more handmade. So I don't know, man. You're going to have to find something in your neighborhood. Go check out and see if you like it. But me just telling you, oh, you should buy this. This is good, blah, blah, blah. That's usually bad advice. It's usually bad advice to take advice from somebody who doesn't know exactly what you like and don't like. So you should always be wary of people that do that. You know what I mean? Some people act like they have all the answers. I think you should take advice from people who are a little more careful about stuff like that. But there are guitars out there. There are definitely guitars out there for your left-handedness. And yeah, it's not. I know it's not a great answer for you because it's like, oh, I just wanted a specific model. I just wanted to be told what to buy. You can't do it, man. You got to find what fits for you. And here's the other thing too. Even if I did tell you a specific model, there's no guarantee you're actually going to like it. See all these guitars over here? I had to sit down and play those. So you got to really go out there and see what's available. But call ahead though, because usually if you say, "Hey, are you guys got a couple left-handed guitars there? What do you got?" They'll go, "Oh yeah, we got a guy came in the other day." There's a shop near me. There's a left-handed guitar player who buys and sells all the time. They probably have 10 lefty guitars there at any given time. So I'll tell you this though, if you're trying to buy online. I'm not a big fan of Guitar Center for their business practices, but they're pretty who cares as far as the return policy goes. So if there's a Guitar Center near you, you can usually just buy something, have it shipped to your house, and then just go there and just return it. It'll be fine. So we got some ambidextrous people. Very cool. Would around strings work? Switch around strings work? You could do that. You could do a Jimi Hendrix. I did that once. Somebody gave me a left-handed guitar, and I flipped it to righty, so sucks to suck. But some people do that. I don't really recommend it because if you can play a left-handed guitar, you can find one. You could find one. If you're absolutely desperate to get a left-handed guitar, you could just buy a Strat. I recommend Strats for lefty. They actually are not that uncomfortable. I could see why Jimi Hendrix did it. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, go out there, check out some stuff. Call around. Go buy some stuff online, return it. I know Amazon's return policy is pretty good too, but buying a guitar from Amazon's not usually the best thing because they just keep it in a warehouse. Who knows if it's actually going to be set up or not. So CM says, unrelated to the stream, what is your favorite snack? I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite snack necessarily. I've been eating what are they called? The Quaker Quakes. Those little caramel things that are pretty good. I like those. But I don't know if I have a favorite snack. I kind of go through phases and stuff. Yeah, Guitar Center is pretty good with returns. Yeah, 45-day return policy. Which, hey, if you're looking at used guitars, hey, real quick. If you guys have not watched my video, I have a video on how to buy used guitars. I'm going to keep pointing because I don't know when to stop. Yeah, there's a video on how to buy used guitars if you want to check that out. I have a whole video I put out just 2 days ago. Yeah, it teaches you how to do it, teaches you how to research, look at condition, purchasing, all that stuff. Go check it out. Yeah, it's actually doing okay. It's a pretty okay video so far. Especially since the fact that I switched from doing interesting people, places, and things. So, yeah, I was going to say, if you want to, I have more stuff on my main channel. This is my secondary channel where I talk about stuff and give advice. So there's the main channel, which is Patrick Gnarly. That's me. But this is Patrick Gnarly and Company. So this is where I talk to people. My other channel, I have a bunch of videos and stuff with me playing music. So but there are a couple videos where I'm not playing music, which is funny. So I had to separate them because people would always ask me questions during the live stream when I'm trying to play music. And then when I'm trying to talk to people, people ask me to play music. It's just you can't keep anybody happy, apparently. Yeah. That's how it goes. Tenzo says, Cool Killa, the stuff you said actually helped. Lol, thanks. Oh, what'd you say, Cool Killa? What was the thing you were talking about? You keep us happy, Pat? Thank you, Cool Killa. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're just kind of goofing around on this second channel. I would like to start playing video games on this channel too, because it's like a nice little. It gives you guys a little thing to look at while I'm kind of hanging out. But it's also like, you know, more experience, more fun. He's talking about thumb placement. Oh, so you're talking about like over thumb, flat, stuff like that. You liked that survival game I played? Oh, was that Valheim? Yeah, well, I'm going to go back to playing Valheim. There's a update for that game coming relatively soon. I'm really excited. I play it every time there's an update. I go from the beginning of the game to the end of the game because it's always something different. That game is so good. I would definitely play that on stream. I have like 1,000 hours in that game. What's my favorite song to play? I don't know, man. I got a whole bunch of songs I really enjoy to play. On my other channel, which kind of looks like, here, I'll show you what it looks like. I have a whole bunch of songs up here. I'll close that. Deftones, Radiohead, Foo Fighters, Nirvana is my favorite band. But Alice in Chains, Smashing Pumpkins, a whole bunch of songs up there. But this is not my music playing stream. This is one where I just answer questions. Green Day, Weezer, so a whole bunch of different bands and stuff like that. But yeah, this is more like talking about songs and advice and talking about guitar. Trying to give people able chances to ask questions because people ask me a lot of questions on my main stream and it's kind of hard to answer questions when it's just constant music. You know what I mean? Oh, I haven't played God of War. Any of them. I haven't played a single God of War. Can you believe that? Not a single God of War. Not since PlayStation 2, any of that stuff. Nothing. See, one of the only games I completely missed. Dude, are these strings already becoming bare? You gotta be kidding me. Diodario. That's terrible. Dude, I've had these strings for like a week. They're already needing to be replaced. Oh, you mean the XSs or the XLs? No, these are probably just not a very good set of strings. I mean, it is also the G string, which is like, I don't usually get a wound G, but, whatever. My strings don't get, nasty. They just, wear out, which is, nice. Yeah, my hands don't sweat. I got very lucky with that. Let me change something here real quick. Make this easier for people. There we go. A little bit easier for people to see. Zoe says, does playing with a pick wear strings out faster? I would say yes, probably. But, I mean, strings wearing down here is not a big deal. Like, it doesn't really affect the tone. It's like up here. Because, like, if you have a string that's not, like, making contact properly, what happens is you'll have, like, instead of it being like this, you'll get this. It'll buzz really bad. Trippers! You know what I mean? I used to play elixirs. Those are really good if you get sweaty hands. Yeah, elixirs like the turbo. If your hands are like faucets, they just like completely leak. Oh, last question for you or chat. Do you have any lessons for beginners on this channel or main? Lessons, like guitar lessons as far as how to play certain songs, no. But, I mean, there's a lot of basic stuff you can learn. We were talking about this earlier with fundamentals. Like, when people talk about fundamentals, I always talk about, like, if you're trying to become an Olympic runner, like a sprinter, you can't, like, start with walking. You have to start with, like, tying your shoes. You have to start with, like, maintaining posture. You have to make sure that you're breathing properly. You know what I mean? Like, you have to just, like, really focus on really, really fundamental stuff because you can't just go right into it. You're going to develop some bad habits. But one of the big things with when you're first starting to play guitar is fundamentals is just making sure your right hand, when you're picking or however you're trying to do it, I usually pick, and your left hand are kind of communicating. So what you do is you just have to get your tendons, you have to get your calluses on your fingertips, you have to get your muscles, everything going together so that you can just do this. You know what I mean? If you can't write a single word, why are you trying to write a novel? You know what I mean? You gotta make sure you can start your car before you get in the race. So you gotta make sure you just. See if you can actually hold a note. Because like if you noticed earlier, I can make it sound bad. If you want to play notes poorly, you can go. You know what I mean? You want to focus on having a good, clean contact with it. You know what I mean? So you got to practice just doing basic notes, picking the string. Because like if you want to learn how to play left-handed, for example, because if you want to learn, for a lot of guitar players, if you're like just starting out, a lot of people are like, oh, I know how to do this. It's like, no, but in the beginning, you have no neural, you have no way to do it. So like, if I was to play left-handed, it's like only because I had to practice that for a little bit. But if I try to do something out of that practice, it's like playing a single note. I become useless. My brain knows how to play guitar. It's all in there. But like your muscles, they're just not there. You don't have the coordination. But if I flip it, if I flip it, fundamentals, all that stuff kind of pops up. It's like you don't just get good because you feel like it. You got to actually practice it. You got to teach your muscles like, hey, here's how you do it. You got to be able to just develop your tendons and your neurons and all that stuff. So. It's a little goofy, but yeah, if you want to humble somebody who's like, yeah, I'm pretty good at guitar, it's like, yeah, but you've been playing for a while. It's like, are you actually good, or did you just get used to it? Yeah, have them play left-handed. That's a really embarrassing thing to do for you. Yeah, you could practice slowly. Yeah, you don't want to work on speed, work on accuracy. Because like anybody could play super fast and sloppy. It's not hard to be like. You know what I mean? Like, oh, cool. Yeah. And let me make this very clear, too. This is something that's very distinct. There's a common saying, which is practice makes perfect. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you do something wrong several times, it's going to be very hard to break that. So I'll give you an example. When I started playing music, I used to only downstroke with picks, so I'd only do this. So to exaggerate, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to relearn how to play guitar for a little bit because I had to go up and down, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it's not. See what I mean? Like having alternate picking is a very, very nice thing to learn, but I couldn't do it when I first started playing guitar. I was only doing downstrokes. And I remember somebody saying, like, you can do downstrokes, like the Ramones, they only did downstrokes. Master of Puppets, Metallica, that's only downstrokes. And I'm like, yeah. And then I went, oh, does everyone else do this? And they're like, yeah, you should probably learn to alternate pick. So, Cool Killer says, I also don't use a pick. That's common, too. There's people out there that don't use picks. I'm more comfortable with a pick. You know, you get that. But I still don't like it. There are some songs I wrote, though, that require it. But I think it makes a different kind of sound. You know, you can get away with it when you get your like thumbnail and have it like your big thumb. Cool Killer says I use Jazz 3s. You would use a Jazz 3. You would use a Jazz 3, Cool Killer. And this is the thing I got to talk about Jazz 3 guys. Anytime, for those of you who don't know, Jazz 3s are a specific shape and size of pick. And Jazz 3s are a little bit smaller and they're a little bit sharper. They're kind of, what's Jazz 3s, what thickness? Do you know? Because I use 0.73 yellow Dunlop Tortex. That's what I use. It's not my favorite pick. It is what I use a lot. It's my favorite pick in the sense like I use it the most. But I have to sharpen them and I have to do all these other little things to make them like perfect for me. Because if I use the Tortex 3s, which are the sharp ones, they slip out of my hands. So it's like I lose anyways. So, but yeah, those. Oh, Phil, you guys both use them. You guys. Jazz 3 guys. Anyways, back to what I was saying, though. Jazz 3 guys are like the most... They look... Hold on, let me pull up the meme. There's like a meme. Where are they at? Hold on. Hold on, where's the meme? It's the aristocrat... Oh, hold on. Yeah, this is how Jazz 3 players look at you. If you say you don't use a Jazz 3, this is how they look at you every time. You're like, "Oh, you don't use a Jazz 3." It's so funny, dude. You guys, I'm gonna be real with you. You guys are the worst. I used to work at a guitar shop, like several years, and anytime someone would be like, "You have a pick?" and I'd be like, "Yeah, I got you." They'd be like, "Ugh. Sorry, I use Jazz 3s. I'm like, get fucked, you idiot. Because if somebody hands me a Jazz 3, I don't go, ugh. I go, okay, thank you. You guys are the worst. You're like, oh, I only use Jazz 3s. I'm like, psh, get out of here. You guys are jerks. You guys are the worst. Because you guys always do that. Like, oh, you don't use Jazz 3s. It's every time. I get it. But here's what's funny. The guys that use like nylons, they don't do that. Nylon guitar players, they don't do that. The guys that use their hands, they don't do that. Oh, I don't need a pick. They're not jerky about it. They go, no, I don't need a pick. Thank you. Oh, I use a Jazz 3. Plectrum. Tenzo, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't join the dark side. 6, don't use a Jazz 3. Don't become one of them. You'll be poisoned. Every time you play guitar for somebody, you're going to be like, I need a Jazz 3. I need my Jazz 3. I need my Jazz 3. Don't listen to him. Jimi Hendrix didn't use Jazz 3s, just saying.
Brian May used his little sixpence or whatever it is, and he wasn't a jerk about it. We're a superior. Just found out. See what I tell you? Don't be these guys. Don't do it. They lose them, and then they have to spend $12 on picks. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Don't you be mad. Don't be mad at me. I didn't do anything. You guys have this attitude, not me. Look at the guy. Hold on real quick. This guy looks like he's playing guitar in the far right. Hold on. Let me zoom in. The guy looks like he's holding a guitar. That's you! That's you! Get him out of here! Come on. Yeah, you got it. Jimi Hendrix didn't use those. Jimi Hendrix was a genius, man. I could talk about him forever. But speaking of smart moves, you guys, I think that concludes another Pat Chat on this channel. So if you guys want to hang out with me on the other channel, the Patrick Gnarly channel, I might have to change it, the name of it. I might have to call it Finals Music or something, or just Finals or something like that. I don't know. Because I feel like people always get confused because, like, you're Patrick Gnarly, but what's your band name? You know what I mean? Even though I have like 7 signs up there. But I'm gonna get off here. I gotta get something to eat. I ate something really quick before this one. But Jazz 3 players, see yourselves out. But no, you guys are great. Thank you for being here. We're gonna keep playing some music tonight. I'm gonna be able to not talk as much, and hopefully the audio will be perfect. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Good night. I'll see you on the other channel, Patrick Gnarly. That's the other channel. I'll be playing music. I won't be talking as much. There's no guitar to smash tonight, but hey, we're gonna be doing it. Cool Kill says we got roasted. You got roasted the moment you picked up that pick. The moment you decided to be the teeny tiny thin Eric Johnson whatever pickup. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, bye everybody. You guys are still cool. I'm just making fun of you because I've had so many bad experiences with your people who use those picks. All right, bye.